Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cattle Prod's premiere podcast.
Hello there.
The Prodcast, episode 12. Can you believe that, Matt?
Wow.
12
That's
episodes.
Like double digits.
Akira was
Three
on
times now.
Akira was on like 6 episodes ago.
And I was just talking to him the other day, and I was like, I can't wait to have you back now because you're actually part of the cast. So he'll be the first person that is a reoccurring guest.
Yeah, we're in double digits. It's worth it.
Because Carl's now like an official member, so it's
it doesn't count.
So.
You're not special anymore.
Unfortunately for Carl.
You're
All
just part of us.
right, I'm your host and MC, Ethan Berman. I'm also co-EP of Campus Heroes.
I'm Matt Grabowski, also co-EP.
I'm Carl Fry. I'm the director.
And we're joined by 2 special guests today. 2 of our principal cast members, or 2 leads. They're playing the roles of Robert and Jonathan. You might have heard Matt talk about those characters before, but let's let them introduce yourself. First off.
Hello. This is Elias and I'm playing the role of Robert.
Hey, I'm Connor Barr, and I'm going to be playing Jonathan.
Hey.
Phenomenal introductions.
Thanks. Been working on it.
So the first topic I wanted to bring up, Matt, as a writer.
Yes.
How does it feel seeing people actually deliver your dialogue?
So interesting. As we were sitting in auditions, and as Carl was taking him through all the, or rehearsals, I guess, at this point, as he was taking him through all the different exercises, I slowly realized, and Carl was telling me, hey, get away from the script now, let's just try it. And it was just seeing, what those characters are like outside of the way I've written them.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Also, sometimes a lot funnier. And I realized, I wish I was able to write some of that, because some of the stuff they've been coming up with, absolute gold in rehearsals. I'm laughing my ass off.
I swear, in our class, where we have to, present a lot of this stuff, I've been having to, promise to the TA. She's like, based off the script, the characters seem like idiots. Are they idiots? And I'm like, no, they're brave.
They're sure and confident, driven.
Yeah.
To the point of almost madness, but I would not say idiots.
Okay, Carl, you're director, so how would you describe Robert and Jonathan? Our 2 main characters, the people, audiences are supposed to...
Well, that's something I was talking to Matt about not that long ago, where I asked myself the question, are they narcissists?
Right.
I remember that.
But here's the thing. They do love themselves,
Mm-hmm.
but they also love justice.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the way those 2 things work together is kind of a constant battle that sort of builds each other up rather than it could cause a problem if they have a goal in mind that they see as moral and just. And then their way of reaching that goal becomes sort of clouded, and just the end becomes more important than the means. I could see as the series progresses that being a problem, but as characters, pretty much they want to do good things because it makes them feel good, but they're also, they consider themselves to be good people, so they're acting upon these moral intentions.
What's kind of funny is I could tell Carl's taking the director's workshop class is hearing him talk about directing you guys before auditions and everything, and then going the Max McConaughey lecture earlier at UT, and he's like, I don't want to feel like I'm being directed. I don't want to be driven anywhere. I want to be told an emotion. And I want to transfer for that. I saw a lot of that Carl was doing naturally, so I was really happy. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be good. This will be good. Versus walk over there, pick up that thing. You're a cop, harass him.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I guess what I was gonna ask you guys is how does it feel balancing acting at UT? Obviously that's kind of what you guys have been doing, but how does it feel having to balance okay, I want to do this many of these productions, I'm happy if I'm working this much,
Yeah. I definitely have always been crazy busy, and that's just the normal way I like to function. I feel if I have too much time where I'm not working on a project, I get way too antsy, and I'm what am I gonna do? I gotta make something. I gotta do something. So for me, since I've come to UT, it's been just a constant, just trying to find more projects and trying to get better at acting and discover more things about acting and that whole process.
Sweet.
No, yeah, most definitely. Every night when I go to bed, I kind of ask myself.
What a prolific way to start.
Already beat my answer. Okay, let's go.
I ask myself, what did I do today to further my career? What did I do today to sharpen my tool?
Right.
Well, that sounds nice. What did I do today to hone my skill? So I like my schedule and my calendar to always be jam-packed with more than one type of project or thing that I'm doing just trying to keep that tool sharpened, pretty much, what I like to look at it
Very
as.
good answer.
It's definitely a philosophy to have, and it's something Matt and I've been struggling with this semester. Is
Yeah,
that
fucking
we
kidding.
we went from being on everyone's sets constantly. It's like, oh, you need 80, you need this, you need a sound guy. I'll be there. And then we do campus series and recognize, no, we're like running one project all semester until it's done. And it almost makes you feel like you're missing out when everyone's like, oh, I was boom hopping on this set, but you're like, no, we need to make one project. It needs to be good. Like the producing game's so much different than like the
So
cast
much
game or the crew game.
But going on top of that, like it totally pays off at a certain point because as you were saying, like there's all these people. Occasionally we'll hear like news of like, oh yeah, so and so set. And I'm like, man, I haven't been on any. I haven't been involved in this. Haven't even heard about it. But then it's so rewarding when someone comes up to you that you haven't seen in a whole year, and you're like, hey man, do you perchance want to be on our set? It's this, and this. And like, oh wow, I've heard about this actually. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, everyone is talking about this. And you think this small little project that you've been like containing, like you feel isolated, but in reality, like people talk about your project outside of when you're not there. Crazy.
The best feeling for me was when I realized people were shit talking us behind our back,
That
going
is-
like,
that is rewarding.
people were so mad, like, look at these assholes, so far ahead. Blah, blah, blah. Like people were generally upset we didn't invite them to work on our set, and I was like, here we go, we made it.
Calm down, guys.
We're doing a good job.
Ah, man, absolutely. Yeah, no, that is for sure. Very rewarding in its own like narcissistic, messed up way. I thought about something as I was like watching just now. As like you each gave your answers, it was very parallel to like rehearsals and stuff like that, where I always see like you guys ad-libbing and like it always looks like you're trying to top each other, but not in a competitive way, but like in a friendly, like kind of like literally like a partnership, as in
That's
like
how
Robert and
stuff
Jonathan.
happens.
Yeah.
It works so well though, and so now I want to actually give you a question that I just thought of while sitting in this room.
All right, bring it on.
The ideology between Robert and Jonathan, in your opinion,
Oh.
your own character, they can have different opinions, they're different characters.
Okay.
Do you think Robert or Jonathan, in your own regards, would either take a bullet for his partner or use them as a human shield, expecting, wait, not because he's afraid or anything, but expecting his partner would be like, yeah, no, that's totally fine. Or you think he's the type who would take him and be like, I couldn't live my life without you.
Man. I think it depends on what the situation was. I feel like if we were like
Okay.
on a mission and I was like, Robert, the only way we're going to get out of here is if you take a bullet for me because I have to go and do this thing and I'm the only one who can save the campus.
Mhm.
I feel like I would put Robert in front of me.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
What do you
Sorry,
think?
buddy.
Well, okay. I see how it's like. I see how it's gonna be, Jonathan. Concerning Robert, I feel like my character, concerning ideologies and
Sure.
things, I feel like my character is indeed an addict. He's addicted to adrenaline. So I feel Robert would do the thing that would give him the most adrenaline. So I think he would take that bullet.
Right.
I think he'd want to go numb. I think he'd want to feel like he's back in Nam.
Ride the white tiger.
He wants that bullet. He wants it more than whoever's shooting that bullet wants it. But yeah.
Yeah, like, it's always been beautiful. It's actually beautiful answers. Like it was great when we were reading scripts and everything in class, and I was recognizing like these guys on paper, you can read them back to back to back, and you can't tell the difference between the two of them. And I was like, this is all going to be in execution. So I looked at Carl. I was like, make sure whoever you cast, they can differentiate themselves, make a character out of it. And then that was perfect. Of like Robert's definitely the like gung ho, like acts first, later kind of guy. Like, acts first, thinks later. Well, you act first as well, but you always have the mind running too, and it's like it's such a great. I'm really proud of your script, Matt.
Oh, thank you, bud. I always get so like flattered and uncomfortable when someone says it because I'm hearing it more and more recently, and I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you.
No, I heard about this project before I auditioned, even like in the actor circles that I
Really?
run in. Yeah. Someone's like, yeah, I'm auditioning for this project, Campus Heroes, and I was like, oh, I know the people who are putting that on.
Yeah.
I'm auditioned too.
I'm glad you did. It worked out for us.
For sure.
Yeah, it's always so weird. Like I said, it's so weird when like all of a sudden people were like, "Oh yeah, no, totally, I've heard about this," and I'm like, I haven't seen you in like half a year. I have no idea. I thought like it was just me and these 10 people working on this thing for about. Ethan, how long have we been working on this? When would you say is the start?
I would say April earlier last school year.
Okay,
Um,
April. So we're going on 6 months. What,
Yeah.
10th month.
Yeah. We actually haven't told the story on the podcast, but just like the cliff notes is that we were working on a lot of TSTV stuff. We were working on our own kind of sets, and we were getting burnt out on like everyone was just so. There's a certain point in the semester where everyone starts to slug and started being really lethargic, or people getting each other's nerves, and we were upset because it's looked at the producers and why aren't you keeping track of your people? Why aren't you raising morale again, whatever? And they were like, ugh. And then there was a lot of producer positions being handed out on role sets and everything that we're a part of, and we got passed because people were like, oh, we'd rather have you be crew members than be the people that don't do anything. And we just got, okay, screw it, we'll make our own set. So it kind of was built out of resentment, and now everyone's going, oh, we wish you could be producers on our thing, and it's yeah, well, whatever. So
yeah.
So
and
Campus Heroes is a fuck you to the establishment.
100%.
A little
100%.
bit.
Well,
It's punk rock.
it is. That's the entire point. But when we told our professor that, because he sat us down at Kirby and was talking so why this thing? And Matt told Matt told that same story. He was like, you're saying you quit the establishment and made your own thing? We're yeah. He's like, I like that. I like that a lot.
I think the exact word I used was spite. And I watched him at first stiffen up who are these people I'm dealing with? But then he was also you know what? Respect.
Yeah.
Great guy. I'm actually going on about it to Carl.
Mhm.
Based off their answers, would you agree or disagree from from the standpoint of which you had in your director's eye?
I agreed with them 100%.
Okay,
And I love that, you said, he's an addict to adrenaline. I hadn't thought that before, but that's such a great way of wording it for Robert.
I just I was curious. I don't know why I thought of that answer, but I was that's an interesting one. I feel it would differ from most other cop duos out there.
Yeah. You could definitely feel that difference, between the way you guys are taking on the characters during, rehearsals and callbacks. For example, the scene with Luke, where you're leaning back, you've got your notepad, and then you're sort of moving around the scene, around them. I thought that was, just the physicalities were very interesting to observe.
Yeah, the contrast is really good. It's complementary.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
There's a
complimentary.
symbiotic relationship. But
Yeah.
Very much so.
I was how you guys felt about the Seth scene we just rehearsed, where you guys walk in to Seth's lair and you're not with him, because in our head, I know Matt and I were really on par with that scene. That's the one scene that hasn't changed pretty much from the first draft all the way to now. And in our heads from the beginning, it was going to be this fat neckbeard white guy at a computer. It was very limited movement. Robert and Jonathan are borderline picking on this guy. And then now the power dynamics completely shifted, where it's Alfred, who's really he's playing that role great. He's using the Mandarin and everything. He almost takes the power away from you guys for a little bit. It's how do you guys feel about that scene?
I think it's just so funny because I think going into that scene I wasn't even thinking about that, and then Carl gave the note about hey, this is the one place where y'all are super uncomfortable and don't have the power. And it just made me wonder, it's what did Seth do in the past that has messed with their psyches so much to where they are terrified to even open the door or go into his little lair.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's kind of an example of one of the scenes where you guys' story is amazing. It's so funny. And then just taking that vision, though, and just completely inverting it, flipping it on his head, saying, the first thing I see when I read Seth's character is, you said, neck-bearded fat guy.
Yeah.
But what if he wasn't? Just completely.
My favorite phrase Carl says is every time the normal thought comes to mind, he goes, "What if they were? Or
Yeah.
what if it wasn't? What if?" And it's always the complete opposite.
This entire time we've been pushing for Drew to be this average generic white guy that's in
Go-lucky,
the patsy, and then Carl kept going what if it's a sorority girl? How funny would it be to throw a sorority girl to a table? I guess so.
I guess so.
and at first I was emotional on that one, but as he's proved me wrong with every single casting, with Cosme audition, and we're thinking oh yeah, what could Cosme play?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's what if he's Tom? And I was yeah, actually,
He's the
what if
perfect
he's-
type man.
Perfect type man.
Yeah.
So good at hyping.
And then now Dylan's doing his weird thing, crazy Cody character. And Tom's just there, yeah, man, yeah.
It worked out so well. And then Yukiro, too. Terry was a tough one. It's originally, you sort of imagine, the mustache kind of, sheriff kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, what if he's not?
Yeah.
And that's
He's
what we started
not.
saying,
I love that.
what if David Cross was playing Terry? that was sort of, where the first idea bore out, where, the only person who could play that was Luke. Where it was, he's sort of this insecure person who's, in charge of this entire group of, hyper alpha people, And, but, no one else could play Jeremy the way Luke played it. So the way it worked out, it's what about Yukiro?
Yeah.
What if we played it completely different in this way, and then it also works so well?
It's that wonderful moment where like Akira and I are just walking back from class, like just BSing what we're doing, and he's like, I have to keep like directing all these things, but I really just want to act a bit, I just want to like be on the other side of the camera, and I'm like, I have a role for you.
Funny enough.
But it's something my favorite thing about this project has been all these people that we know do cool things that we've haven't really talked to in like a year, for me like even 2 years since freshman year. Like Akiro, he was on my fig, and then like we used to talk whatever, hung out a bit. But then like last year it was like, hey, we should hang out sometime. We never really talked. And then like from doing Campus Heroes, we've been like forced to interact some more. So it's really cool. Like even Jasmine, our
see everyone from your because you and Carl were in a fig together.
Yep.
I didn't come here until my sophomore year.
Yep.
So it's like meeting all these people that like you like basically started your university experience with.
Mm.
So interesting, and they're all like super cool and talented. Like I'm sure there were other people in your fig that like you just didn't really connect to, but like these are the ones that you did. I can see why, because they're like so passionate and they got like such a strong like conviction for what they do.
Because even Jasmine's a journalism major, but she's like, hey, I have a camera, I want to do behind the scenes photography, and I was like, you got the job.
So great. So great. Some of those pictures that she's been getting from like rehearsals and stuff like that, so awesome.
Which ironically, Akira was supposed to be a behind the scenes photographer.
Really?
And then he's been doing his own series, The Mountaintop, which we'll plug because we promised to plug it last time. We didn't.
I told him to plug everything he wanted to, like whenever he came here. So
Gotcha.
like,
Yeah.
whenever we have him on, he'll like just download everything.
Because he said he had stuff to plug, and then last time he just gave me his YouTube channel. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Hey, not a bad idea. But yeah, like you said, it's just like it's interesting how like everyone's roles have been changing around and like moving this way and that. Especially like Akira, like he went from like behind the scenes. I think he was actually good. Yeah, no, he was always behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then he's now in the cast as opposed to being crew. So exciting.
All right, next question, you guys. How does it feel knowing that December 8th, no matter what,
December 8th.
your
6
guys'
p.m.
image, you guys' acting ability is going to be shown to Rooster Teeth Productions, like the head producers at Rooster Teeth.
Well, I didn't know the exact date until now, so now I got a countdown on my phone.
Countdown.
Oh, shit.
I had
You
it
have
on-
a countdown.
We had it on our phones. since we-
Incredible.
1
Wow.
month, 24 days, 1 hour, 21 minutes, 18
Wow.
seconds.
Literally a countdown.
That's
It's very stressful
Not
for the
that
producers.
far
let me
away.
tell you.
Jeez.
that's insane.
No, it's
how
not.
many episodes are y'all showing?
We're only showing the one because
one.
it's half hour long. Everyone
Right.
else has like 2-minute episodes, 5-minute episodes.
Okay.
So-
Overachiever.
I love that though. I love that, and I feel like they're gonna like that.
Oh yeah.
So,
Okay, well, because they loved Carl's project. Like out of all,
No, they're like, because I think we mentioned it. So it's like, hey, we worked on Renner. She's like, yeah, that one. We like that one.
that was great. It was so good.
the thing is, Carl's told enough horror stories about the Rooster Teeth thing, like the guy that asked for the editing job at there, like just.
To Matt Holm.
Yeah, it's Matt, like the owner of Rooster Teeth. It just like shuts down. Like, what if like this is like we'll be hanging out and Carlos brings up like, what if they go to play your project and it just doesn't work? Like, what if they hit play and like error and like goes not working, guys, and clicks the next video.
Oh, no.
It would absolutely be my worst fear. Yeah. All last
Oh,
weekend I
man.
was having like stress dreams about it until like we went through and got a little bit more producing work done. But before that,
Mm.
I'm sure like come end of November, it's just gonna be constantly me like with one of those like grip weights and
The
just
stress
constantly like a stress ball, and just like constantly squeezing it, grinding my teeth.
I was gonna talk about this a little more in the Patreon newsletter, but while we're talking, Matt, Carl, you guys can inflect, but this past week,
Yes.
like the closer you get to a project actually filming,
Mm.
it seems like the more things that can go wrong. Like it feels like there's definitely like a proportion to it.
Yeah.
Where further back is cool, yeah, make a budget. Cool, yeah, make this. Oh yeah, lock this schedule. That's fine. And then now it's like simple things like, can we film this location? Yeah, we could.
I think the best way to well, that's a whole other conversation. The location that was the first time in the as long as I can remember that we actually came close to like ripping out each other's jugular was
Yeah.
the other night. Talking about this location.
I-
But let me ask this, because the best way to address the question, Ethan, is to ask these two people who have only ever seen us like in our producer attire, you know, like
Oh,
always
right.
discussing
Okay.
things. I want to know like how well together do we actually look? Like, be completely honest, it's a safe zone. Does not leave this box except for the internet.
Well, considering that Matt shows up with a tie,
That's exactly what I was
and
gonna say.
slacks, I would say very well put together.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a good team. I feel very well taken care of. I get all the emails on time. I know where I'm going, how I'm doing it. So
I mean, for sure. Like, I mean, I'm good friends with Dylan, who's playing Cody.
Nice.
And we like carpooled over to the initial audition, and we've like done tons of auditions together, and like so many that have been like unorganized, and like I was at one like a month ago where I had to stay like 4 hours later than what I actually thought. And so we like show up and there's like snacks on the table and you're wearing a suit and it's just like in and out. And we're like, wow, that was like, they're like on top of their game.
It was all a presentation.
Yeah. All of us.
It's the snacks.
Honestly,
Snacks
it
don't
boils
hurt.
as long as you feed me, I'll be fine.
My favorite thing actually was when I first met you and him when you guys showed up for your audition. Yeah, I almost said Cody for his name because when I see y'all for a second, I only see like those like lines going for a second, and I'm like jump back into reality now. You use your human brain now.
Words.
Yeah, when I first met you and Dylan, you guys just walk in and you come together. I'm like, oh wow, did these guys just like happen to show up together? And I'm like, oh hey, you guys like know each other? Like, yeah, and like we were just talking and stuff like that. And my favorite part was when I asked you like, oh, how was parking and everything? You know, do you guys have a problem getting over here or anything? And you like take a deep breath, you like look at each other and you go, well, actually, we carpooled. I was like, oh, okay, that's smart. He's like, on a moped.
Yeah.
And it was my favorite thing because I was like, these two people have character.
Yeah.
Immediately, you have some kind of dynamic, whether love or hatred, right off the bat. Here we go.
Yep. I was definitely just like holding on to his, you know, masculinity
Right.
while we were writing up Gene Keaton into the audition.
And now he's your nemesis.
I know, right? What a world.
Yeah.
It's all the small things.
I'm just so glad I don't have to play Cody. That's like the one thing.
I really wanted Ethan to play him because when you do like the Alex Jones voice and you're wearing the aviators.
Yeah.
I was saying like put some earrings on him, like a cucumber in the pants.
You have no idea. You have no idea how close he came to making Ethan play Cody. And then Dylan walks in, gives his audition, and we're like, safe. Like, he knew he knocked it out of the park. And Carl's like, he was too good not to have him.
That's awesome.
The way the audition worked was Carl's looking at me, Matt's looking at Carl, and then Emily's looking at Dylan, and she's just going like, he's good. Carl's like, you're safe for now.
One of these days. You're
Guess
gonna have
get
to,
something else.
yeah, I was gonna say one of our future projects for sure. God
Yeah,
knows we ever
and it was with the image of you. Where I was like, we need to add like some more scenes with Claire or whatever, where you're completely uncomfortable with girls, or at least
Right.
Cody's character is like completely boisterous and stuff. And like we're saying, like he's so alpha, he comes off as gay. But as soon as he's like alone with Claire, he's like completely like shuts down, like has no idea how to act.
That was great. It was a locker room scene where like everyone's walking by and he's just like rat-tilling everyone with the towel, and then Claire walks by and he just stares at her and then does it. She's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
My favorite thing about these characters is how like they all definitely have something wrong with them,
Right.
like, to normal eyes, but they're all like humans in that world.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing.
Which that's why that rehearsal with the headquarters scene I really liked.
Yeah.
Because it was great seeing Susan, is that her name? Who's playing? Yeah, she's playing Amber.
Susan
It was like really good seeing a straight man among like everyone, because it's like no matter who's straight man in the scene, every character is absurd except for real life people. And like until episode 2 when we get like Russell and some other people.
Bartender.
Yeah, and bartender. Yeah, it's like it's not the same. So having Amber is like the one. You know, you have Akira. Exactly, the Rock. Akira's like Lady Amber.
All the dynamicisms.
But yeah, so we've been going long enough. So wrapping up, I guess, what was your question to the audience? What do you want to ask our fellow
Oh
listeners?
God, let me see. Man, I'm usually right on top of these. I was
Yeah.
not thinking about these. I was devoting all my energy to thinking about that other question.
You did a good job though. But
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
and so it's always your one thing a week. You always bring an interesting.
I want to
question.
ask my question to our wonderful actors here, and just say, what are you most excited about for going into? Because we start filming. That's not next week, is it? 7
No.
days from no, the week after.
Yeah, we have one more weekend, and then
The
that week we're
23rd is
filming.
our first shoot
Yeah.
day. Yeah. So going into it, what are y'all most excited about?
Is it too early to say the blooper reel?
No,
No, but really.
That's a good
Retweet.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh yeah, there's gonna be so many of those. Yeah, I forgot about that. Because she's not just doing BTS still. She's also doing a
Promotional.
video. Oh, is she doing?
Oh no,
video
yeah,
now?
she's doing video. too,
Okay,
yeah.
I couldn't remember when we had the meeting for that. I couldn't remember if she did that. So if not just the actual bloopers that come from the camera, like, you know, we have it from BTS and all that. So
Yeah,
that's a
that'll
good
be
one.
a good thing to look forward to. Is every time the camera's not rolling, she's gonna be recording like background footage of like all of us just BSing on set and anything like that to like make some kind of like end collage thing.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so like look forward to that in the Patreon newsletter because second you donate money, you're gonna get all that stuff weeks early. So.
And the more you donate, the more awesome stuff you get.
Yeah, there's literally a direct correlation between the amount of PD we have and then the amount of money going into the.
Yeah, we were just
Patreon.
talking about because we just got some of our first donators, and because they donated the highest value, we actually put them in the PD. So in the background of the scenes, their name will show up maybe as wanted posters or on the newspaper somewhere. So we kind of throw that thing in for our audience. So
Awesome.
we already haven't discussed that. Very exciting stuff.
So, we also made an Instagram. So be sure.
Oh, did we? Yeah.
Mhm. So be sure to follow us at Cattle Prod Team on Twitter, on the Instagram at Campus Heroes, Campus_Heroes. Our Facebook page, you can type in Campus Heroes with the first thing that pops up. And follow, I'll post it in the YouTube and the SoundCloud description, everyone's social media they want to do. I'm not going to ask you guys here. But I don't want to go through that. But be sure to check out Campus Heroes when that comes out. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having
of
us.
course. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl, because yesterday Carl looks like he's like, the podcast is tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, and he's like, I have so much work to do. He's like, okay, I'll be there. I'm like, I'll buy you lunch. Thanks,
God
buddy.
bless them.
But yeah, be sure to join us next week for podcast 13. We'll try to get some more cast, maybe some crew on, and we might return. That bums. But yeah, thanks for watching, and see you guys next week. Bye bye.